Hello everyone, my name is Sarah Ensminger. The speech that I'm going to give today is of a topic of my choosing. I've chosen to talk about understanding military life. So with that being said, the assignment criteria was to give a speech to 5 adult audience members, and I would like to start off by giving you a brief overview of my personal perspectives on life in the military. When I was 17 years old, I was a waitress at the Springdale Denny's, and I was always used to being around people a lot older than me. So being 17 and a senior in high school, I began to become persuaded to drop out of school. So with that being said, I dropped out of high school and shortly after got my GED. So being so young at 17, out of school, I felt like I could make it on my own as an adult. So having a job already, I got an apartment. And once I started realizing all the bills that were coming in, I started to really realize that I couldn't do it on my own. So I quickly went from trying to be a mature, responsible adult to a homeless teenager. I started living in my car. So being 17, not having family around, staying in your car, you start thinking about life really hard. And you start looking at yourself and thinking about things that you can do to better yourself. The one thing that I thought about that came to my mind a lot is, obviously I need to find a career, something that's going to help me become a better person in my life. So I found myself going to a Air Force recruiter's office, but they didn't have any slots open, so I was enlisted into the Army National Guard. With that being said, I went to basic and AIT. When I was 18 years old, I stayed there roughly 9 weeks. When I got backtracked, when I was in basic training, my platoon had gotten in trouble, so we were all rushed outside. While we were doing all these exercises that the drill sergeants were having us do, he was telling us all a story in his own way while he was lecturing us about how he was on deployment and wasn't able to make it home to his grandfather's funeral because he had to sacrifice his self to deploy and take care of his duties and serve the country. So being 18 years old in basic training, I had a lot of immaturities, obviously, still, so I didn't really think about what he was saying. Shortly when I got home, within a year, I got my first deployment orders. So then I found myself on deployment, and I didn't find it so hard to be on deployment because I didn't have any children. I was newly married at the time, but I didn't have a lot of responsibilities. But being married kind of took a lot of stress off of me because I didn't have to provide for all the bills. I had half that now because my husband was helping with the other half, so my life was a lot less stressful. So I got back from that deployment, and shortly after that, I went to a few schools, and after I got back from those schools, I found myself on a second deployment. That second deployment was a lot harder on me because I had a 2-year-old son. It was a lot harder leaving him behind, having to do USO videos and send to him so that he can see mommy. He doesn't understand why mommy's not there to take care of him. So that was a lot harder for me, plus the dangers of Iraq the second time seemed to be a lot worse than on the first. So with the hardships of deployment, I would like to take a brief moment to explain the benefits of the military. A lot of the benefits that I think about when I think about having benefits within the Army, I think about education. Education has been a huge part with the military helping me finance my college. And I'm doing it, and I'm really glad that that's there for me to use. Another benefit I think about is health insurance and dental insurance. Those have been tremendous, a great part of the military as far as offering those benefits for not only myself, but for my family. So those are the main things I think about when I hear benefits, and obviously I think about the hardships the most because having to leave your family is an extreme part of my career that I've had to deal with. So with that being said, I wanted to share not only my side of deploying and seeing the benefits of the military, but also share with you guys my family's aspect of that as well. So with that being said, I'd like to introduce you to my husband, Philip Ensminger.
very much. I guess everybody knows my wife, Staff Sergeant Kinsminger. Yeah, I don't have much time. This is a real short section that we're having to do, so I'm not gonna burn you guys' ears all day long. Everybody's happy about that. I see smiles. You know, the benefits, I guess I'd say would be education, health, but the pay too. You know, we went through a hard time as far as the economy and things like that. Not being, you know, in the military, but it did have a huge benefit factor to me. Having kids at the house and having a loved one leave. The hardship would be having a loved one leave and worrying 24/7 on if they're going to be okay or not. That wraps up me. And back to my wife, Sarah.
So, in conclusion, I would like to hopefully think that I've given you an overview of my feelings on not only just the benefits of the military, but also having to deal with the hardships of being in the military as well. Now, given the fact that I have been in the military for 10 years, I've dealt with a lot of the benefits and the hardships. So with that being said, I would like to, again, thank you for participating in this speech.